As most of you know, the Taliban have just taken Kabul. They've taken over Afghanistan after 20 years because of the incompetence of this administration. Many people on the left are going to tell you that it was Donald Trump's fault because he brokered the deal with the Taliban to leave in May. I will tell you that if Trump had actually withdrawn every single U.S. soldier, that he would be at fault. Whether or not he would have done that remains to be seen. But the Biden administration is naturally going to try to pin the fault on the orange man, naturally, because that's what the left does. Just orange man. That's the card that they pull out at every opportunity. The Biden administration has reneged on Keystone Pipeline against what the Trump administration would have done. They reinstated critical race theory in schools and the 1619 Project being taught. They took apart Trump's edict that critical race theory would not be taught in the government and that businesses that did that would not be receiving government contracts. On so many things, the Biden administration has overturned the Trump administration, which they have the right to do. This is an elected government. So don't listen to them when they tell you that their hands were tied by Donald Trump. This is ineptitude, and you will see in this clip Joe Biden assuring the American public of exactly what did take place. I'll be back after to discuss.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
Can you please clarify what they have told you about whether that will happen or not?
That is not true. They did not reach that conclusion.
So what is the level of confidence that they have that it will not collapse?
The Afghan government and leadership has to come together. They clearly have the capacity to sustain the government in place.
And do you see any parallels between this withdrawal and what happened in Vietnam with some people feeling...
None whatsoever. Zero. What you had entire brigades breaking through the gates of our embassy. 6, if I'm not mistaken. The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof of a embassy of the United States from Afghanistan. It is not at all comparable. So the question now is, where do they go from here? That the jury is still out. But the likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
What do you want to believe from this administration? This is ineptitude at the highest levels. Everything that he assured you of came apart in 10 days. And what's going to happen now is the fact that you're going to see Al-Qaeda resurgence with a vengeance. And you don't have the army that was in the north, the resistance to the Taliban, there to fight them any longer. They freed all the Taliban and Afghan prisoners from a jail, and there is no air base from which to strike them. Afghanistan is a strategically important country if you want to take on China. You know who's going to play nice with the Taliban, who doesn't give a damn about human rights? The Chinese. Who do you think is going to be getting all of their vast mineral wealth for billions of dollars, supplementing the income of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda? This is going to come to the U.S. soil. And for what? What was the reason? In order to bring the troops home, in order to end an unending war without any strategic thought as to what was going to happen, because obviously what Joe Biden told you was a complete fallacy. It's either a lie or they're incompetent. There's no alternative. This happened in 20 days. It wasn't some long, drawn-out thing where dominoes fell that weren't predictable. Think about it from the viewpoint of an Afghan government commander. The Taliban are going to fight to win because they have God on their side, and they're never going to give up. And the Taliban will just execute you if they catch you, or you can go home to your family, lay down your arms. And now the Taliban have caches of Apache helicopters and weaponry and armor. And this is the fault of Joe Biden. And the left, of course, is going to try to blame Donald Trump for this whole debacle that was created by an inept administration. This does not bolster faith with our allies anywhere. And think about the Afghans that laid down their lives, both physically and proverbially, and their families in order to interpret they're going to be slaughtered. And the Biden administration did very little, if anything, to give them asylum, to protect them. And all you would have had to maintain was a group of troops, maybe 2,500, which was what was currently in place, maybe up to 5,000, in order to have prevented this at a low cost, in order to ensure that America does not have another 9/11, which is exactly what these people are going to do when they're given free rein to plan, when they're not looking over their shoulder. This is the sadness that I bring you this news, and with furious anger at the President of the United States, Joe Biden, and whoever's advising him. What an inept administration. And as Americans, I think that frankly this administration should be impeached. They already went against the Supreme Court and overruled them in terms of the eviction moratorium, and now you add this on. I mean, everybody from this administration should be fired for incompetence. I'm furious with what's taken place, and I hope that you guys spread this video so that other people know what's going on and the gravity of the situation. Peace and blessings. If you're new, subscribe to the channel and share the video and thumb it up. Peace.